Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Robin from your AZ-103. This will be the certification training, so we'll continue our Azure Virtual Network on Lesson 3 and Lesson 4, which is Azure DNS and Azure Network Security Group. It's 5 a.m. here in Shanghai time, so I hope you're not really good morning. It's a good night or good afternoon for you. Okay, anyway, let's get started. So this lesson, and it's not really hard. I mean, the two lessons 3 and lesson 4. So if you're a DNS guy, you know how everything works. Just we put this in Azure. So we're going to talk about custom domain, DNS zone, records, delegation, private domain, and some demonstration on how to resolve your domain name in Azure. So there are two domain. One is the initial domain, another one is custom. So the initial domain are the one given to you when you register for Azure subscription. Similar as you register for Office 365 subscription, right? It asks you to provide a company name. So that name by default becomes the one that's displayed here, like contosogo.microsoft.com. So if you can see mine here, that's the one I'm using. So this is a little slightly different. So but again, you get the idea. So I use this account to get my certification and everything. That's why it's given like this. That's my given domain name. So if you do not want, you can add a custom domain name. So any domain you own, but must be like from GoDaddy or any public resolvable routable domain. And only the global admin can perform any domain management tasks in Azure AD. So that will be the user who register the subscription, like similar to Office 365. And the domain name in Azure AD are globally unique, hopefully. So if one Azure AD register, I think Azure AD have verified the domain name, the other 8 Azure AD cannot verify the same name. So how to verify? Again, very similar to Office 365, you must use the MX or TXT record to verify this domain. So I'm going to do here, I'm going to just add a customer name I own. So that's one of the domain. Oops, the add domain is down there. Right, so I'll just use the TXT record. Let me go to my GoDaddy. I don't want to see you see the sign page, so let me just drag here. Normally in Office 365, if your domain is in GoDaddy, it will detect then let you register fairly easily. Here it doesn't have that. So let me quickly add here the record. It's txt. So host txt value and 1 hour. Okay, it's added. Let's verify. Okay, guess it won't be that quick yet, but it's to show you. I have added the record here, so give it a couple minutes to update and populate, so it might be work. Okay, never mind. Let's jump back to the PowerPoint. Yes, this case takes several minutes to complete. So the next one is the Azure DNS Zone. So the Azure DNS provides what you call a reliable and secure DNS services to manage and resolve domain names in a virtual network without you needing to add a custom DNS resolution. So a DNS zone holds the DNS records for a domain. If you want to start hosting your domain in Azure AD, Azure DNS, this is two separate things, right? You have to keep in mind. Azure AD does not equal you have Azure DNS. So you need to create a DNS zone for that domain name. Each DNS record for a domain is then created inside the DNS zone. So from the portal, you can easily add DNS zone and then view information including names, numbers, records, resource groups, locations, etc., and name servers. So we're creating a DNS zone in the Azure DNS. You have to remember the following. First, the name of the zone must be unique within the resource group, just within the resource group, and the zone must not exist already. And the same zone name can be reused in a different rescue group, a resource group, sorry, or different Azure subscription. And third, when multiple zones share the same name, each instance is assigned a different name server address. And the last one, only one set of addresses can be configured with the domain name register. So another one you have to keep in mind, I have said before, you have to know is you do not have to own a domain name to create a DNS zone with that domain name in Azure DNS. However, you need to own the domain to configure the domain. So I don't know if that has make any sense to you, but anyway, let's just try to verify again. All right, so yeah, it does take several minutes. No, I do not need to download the ADD Connect. So here we go, my custom and domain name, right? It's not primary anything, but let's go check Azure DNS zones. So you can here, I can create anything that's I can create a zone that I do not own the domain for. So let's use RG1 for example. Name, I can even use Microsoft.com. It's a reserve, sorry. So let's use something else like what do you have in mind? Golden Contoso. All right, so I would imagine this has been on. So anyway, let's search one uh, that's already been resolved. So let's see. I would imagine this has been owned as well. Let me just search in GoDaddy. See, airforce.com, right? You can see here it's already being sold, airforce.com. I apologize in Chinese, but you get the idea, it's being sold. So I can use this one. See, I don't own the domain, anything, right? I can show you guys, I don't own the domain. So if I go to my product, you can see here I have a number of DNS Record Delta Suite.com, my favorite, like Fly, Microsoft.org, Microsoft.com, BPTeamsTraining.com, but I don't have Airforce.com. But I can create the zone for Airforce.com, right? Review and create, and hit create. All right, that's underway. So I can use this one, right? So I don't know for now how if you get your head around this. So the DNS zone, it's something you can treat as private. So in your when you are doing a on local deployment, you can create any zone, right? But you don't necessarily, or you can add any domains you want in your local AD. You don't have to own that domain, right? If I'm not mistaken, you don't have to own anything to create that. But if you want to publish anything to the internet, if you want to resolve that from the internet without any proxy you publish to the internet, right? This route your VPN to your internal, you have to resolve that domain. So that might be public available with say on GoDaddy or something. So you have to own that. But privately, you don't have to. Okay. So yeah, I just added airforce.com here. So this is different than the Azure AD services. The Azure AD service is something completely different, right? Okay, jump back to here. Did I cover everything? Yes. Okay, so DNS record sets. So again, it's important to understand the difference between DNS record set and individual DNS records. So a record set is a collection of records in a zone which have the same name and are the same type. You can add up to 20 records to any record set. A record set cannot contain two identical records. So empty record sets can be created but do not appear on the Azure DNS name servers. So record sets of the type CNAME can be contain one record at most. The add record set page will change depending on the type of record you select. For an A record, you will need to set the TTL time to live and IP address. The time to live or TTL specify how long each record is cached by the clients before being required. So this is very standard DNS settings if you're familiar with that. So let me jump back to my here again. So you can add a record set, anything, right? Name. So we can call this airforce.com. We can add a record, right? So we give it a 1 hour TTL. We do not, we want a record sets or not. So you can choose. So we do not want, and the IP address you have to, so 192.168.2. All right. So okay, it will be added here. All right, so but again, for folks that's not familiar with the name servers, right? The name server are the servers who provide name resolution to this DNS to those DNS record. So you can see here from my GoDaddy, if I go to my the one I have added, zfly.com. Um, how do I change it to English? So it's already English. Okay, never mind. So I am a IT admin, but I don't know how to change language. Anyway, that's name server as well for GoDaddy. So these are the names provided for the name servers used to provide the name resolution for zfly.com. So for example, now if I want to change this to my to Azure to hosting my name resolution, right? I need to update all four of this here, right? You can see I have to change this. Custom, so blah 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 blah. Anything you can template we don't choose, so we can add. Yeah, you must add all four here, right? You have to add all four. .com, .net, .org, .info. We have to add all this here. So anyway, that's the way. Or here, it doesn't matter. So you have to choose to add. Okay, so right. So let me jump back to the. So if you do a sorry, a little out of order here, but if you do a NS lookup for a domain, so let me do a PowerShell for you. You have to run with admin. Oh, what do I type PowerShell? Huh, that's strange. For some reason, all of a sudden I cannot. I don't think it's like this. So okay, so which domain I was just mentioning? Okay, zfly.com, right? So right, so let me get a. You can see here the name server, it's nes42 domaincontrol.com something something, right? So uh, that's the one. That's okay. Oh, I have to here, right? That matches what I have here. This two. So if I will change this to Azure now, so if I check back a couple minutes later, it will be updated to all of four here. So that's how the name server works. Okay. All right, let's jump back to our PowerPoint. DNS delegation. So to delegate your domain to Azure DNS, you first need to know the name server's names for your zone. So each time a DNS zone is created, Azure DNS allocates the name servers from the pool, as you see. So once the name servers are assigned, Azure DNS automatically creates the authoritative DNS records in your zone. The easiest way to see the name servers assigned to your zone is through the Azure portal. So here you can see that's the 4 zone we have demonstrated. So you have the .net, .com, .org, .info. So you can also discover the DNS records with the PowerShell. So uh, let's do the PowerShell now. So let me go to my demo here. Let's wait for it to authenticate. Fantastic. Let's get Azure RM DNS zone. Okay, so airforce.com, right? Can also as the DNS record set, but I don't have any. See, I don't have any, right? Yeah. Okay. So I don't create a record set before, so that's why I have nothing here. Okay. So and also for child domain. So if you want to set up a separate child dom, you can delegate a subdomain in Azure DNS. For example, after configuring airforce.com in Azure DNS, you could configure a separate child domain for partners airforce.com. Setting up a subdomain follows the same process as typical delegation. So the only difference here is that the DNS records must be created in the parent zone for the airforce.com in Azure DNS rather than in the domain registrar. So follow the standard process to do it. And that's here. So actually the Air Force one is to demonstrate the different purpose. I want to use the my deckflight.com. So let me close this. So let me go to my Azure DNS. DNS zone. Add my I think let's do this. Let's add this with PowerShell. Right, so let's create one here. All right, so just verify it's being created. Let me close this. All right, it's been created. And now we create the child one, right? We call it partners.deckfly.com because from the port it's fairly easy. You know which button to click. Just want to show you the demo with PowerShell. To refresh. Okay, see it's been created as well. Partners Deckfly is very quick. I really like it. Okay. And we created a DNS record in the parent zone. Oh, this will be decommissioned. Okay, never mind. Oh, I forgot one of the parameter here. So let me copy the entire thing. Okay, so I misplaced some of the command here. Oops. There you go. And we now set. I'll do this line by line in a way. Okay, so that's being complete. Succeeded. Let me refresh. Go to partners.com. Love this. Takeflight.com. Partners, you can see that's the subdomain I own. Right? Okay. All right. So yeah. So we can verify this. We use PowerShell. This is for the previous demo. I haven't changed this yet. RG1. We verified domain name, I guess, before, so we verify a different one. Again, resource group, I forgot to change this. Okay, so my record set here. So partners, the client, just parent domain, child domain, right? Okay, so you get the idea of how doing this in PowerShell, but yeah, you can do this fairly easily in the UI as well. Okay. So there's also a DNS for private domain. So if you decide to use private DNS zone, which is your own custom domain names rather than the Azure provided, so use custom domains, help you to tailor your virtual network architecture to best suit your organization's needs. So it provides name resolution for VMs within a virtual network and between virtual networks. And additionally, you can configure zone name with a split horizon view, which allows private and public DNS zone to share the name. So if you specify a registration virtual network, the DNS record for the VMs from that virtual network that are registered to the private zone are not viewable or retrievable from the Azure PowerShell and Azure CLI APIs. But the VM records are indeed registered and will resolve successfully. Right. So there are some benefits with the Azure DNS. So remove the needs for custom DNS resolution. So before, a lot of customers, when they created the custom DNS resolution to manage their DNS zones in their virtual network, so now you can perform DNS zone management by using the native Azure infrastructure, which resolves the, removes the burden of creating and managing the custom DNS resolution. Then second benefit is use all the common DNS names, records types, right? So AA for IPv6, CNAMEs, MAX, PDR, SOA, and SRV, and TXT, all those. And next benefits is automatically host record management. So along with hosting your custom DNS records, Azure automatically maintains hostname records for the VMs in the specified virtual networks. So in this scenario, you can optimize the domain names you use without needing to create the custom DNS resolution or modify the any applications. So another benefit is, it's a familiar tools and user experience to reduce the learning curve. So this new offer, so all of those UI you see, it's fairly, I think, simple to use. So how to add, and it's available in all the Azure regions. So the Azure DNS private zone feature is available across all the public cloud. Right. So some of the private zone scenarios. So this is scenario one. So name resolution scope to a single virtual network. So in this scenario, you have a virtual network in Azure that has a number of Azure resources in it, including virtual machines and database and everything. So you want to resolve the resource from within the virtual network via the specific domain name, right? So a DNS zone, and you need to name resolution to be private and not accessible from the internet. So furthermore, for the VMs, within the virtual network, you need Azure to automatically register them into the DNS zone. So in the scenario we discussed, so the virtual network, I'm sorry. So the virtual network contains two VMs, right? VM1 and VM2. So each of these VMs have private IPs. So if you create a private zone named contoso.com, right? Contoso.com we see here. Yeah, sorry, my mouse stuck. And like link the virtual network as a registration virtual network, Azure DNS will automatically create two A record in the zone. So now DNS queries from VM1 to DNS record query from VM1 to resolve VM2.contoso.com will receive a DNS response that contains the private IP of VM2. So furthermore, a reverse DNS query, the PDR, so a pointer for, or you C++ is also a pointer PTR right now. Sorry, just some extra thing I know. For private IP of VM1, the 10.0.0.1 from VM2 will receive a DNS response that contains the FQDN of VM1 as expected. Right, so that's the scenario. And also there are other scenario like name resolution for multiple networks. So the name resolution across multiple virtual networks is sometimes the most common usage for DNS private zones. So, but this will be a further discussion, so we do not list it here. Right. So we demonstrate this actually. So we haven't verified the resolution, right? I think. So I think we have. So if we do a NS lookup here, so let me change my PowerShell command here for real quick. So you don't say anything that's horrible. Let's do here. You can verify the domain name as well here. So partners. So let me change this to deckfly.com. Oops. All right. So yeah, it's provided you with the name server because you specify the the name server. So I guess this, I don't have any record here as well. Let me create a record. Fly. Oops. Hello. Close this. Okay. Let's call this mail, my mail server, right? So the A record points to something 212.1. Oh no, that's that's horrible for me to do that too, right? Uh, Sorry, why do I do this? Oops, the response from the keyboard is a little slow. All right, it haven't populated yet. We give it a time. I'm able to resolve from here. Let's see. Not yet as well. It has been populated. No, because from here, if you remember, I cannot resolve from my PC's PowerShell command because it's still the SOA of this one, the host, name server of this one is still here, right? If I update it here, I won't resolve it. I can only resolve it within Azure itself. I cannot resolve within from the public internet. Okay, so yeah, we demonstrate all this. So now we talk about the network security group. So you can treat the network security group as the firewall in a way. So I think the best way to explain that it's just a firewall, right? So you can limit network traffic to any resource in your virtual network using the NSG, Network Security Group. So the NSG contains a list of security rules that allow or deny inbound or outbound network traffic and can be associated with a subnet or virtual network interface. Right. So you can assign NSG to a subnet and create protected screen subnets. So this NSG can restrict traffic flow to all those machines resides within the subnet. So each subnet can have 0 or 1 associated network security group. And also you can assign NSG to an NIC, your network interface, so that all the traffic flowing through that network interface is controlled by the NSG rule. And also when you create a NSG, the overview blade provides information about the NSG, such as the associated subnets, associated network interface, and security rules. So you might see this. So when we create a virtual machine, right? So you saw that any of the uh, virtual machine there's an NSG, but you might remember that better when we do the diagram thing, right? So yeah, that's my favorite diagram. Yeah, remember there's the NSG here, right? There's a shield. You click that, it browses into here, so you can search that as well in NSG and browse the NSG you have. It's have all the rules. It's like a firewall. That's why I say it's behave like a firewall. So this one control the traffic flow into this virtual machine. But within the subnet, I also only have this virtual machine. So it's either way, it's the same, right? It's controlled. It can control the one flow into the network interface as well. It's a little slow. So uh, subnets. I don't have any subnets, but network interface, yes, for this one. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. So the NSG rules, right? So in able to filter the type of traffic and flow and in out of your virtual network, subnets, network interface. So there are several default rules created by Azure. So uh, there are three, the one you saw here, the inbound rule and outbound rule. So those three are allow inbound, allow Azure load balancer inbound, deny all inbound. These are default and you cannot delete them. So even though there's the ellipsis, but you cannot click into the ellipsis and see the delete option. Right. So if you want to try, let's see, we open it's the one before. Overview. So the default one, you can see it's grayed out, right? You cannot delete, but for the other one, I have created the HTTPS. I can delete them, right? Okay. So there's also another thing called NSG Effective Rules. So be cautious when you want to apply any NSG to both your VM and subnet level at the same time. So the NSG are will evaluate independently, and an allow rule must exist at both level, otherwise traffic will not be admitted. So this you must be very cautious. So in here, the right diagram picture example, whatever you call it. So there was incoming traffic on port 80, and you would need to have the NSG at subnet level allow port 80, and you would also need another NSG with allow rule on port 80 at the NIC level. For incoming traffic, the NSG set at the subnet level is evaluated first, then the NSG set at the NIC level is evaluated as well. So outgoing traffic, it is the same. So If you have several NSGs and are not sure which security rules are being applied, you can use the effective security rules link. For example, you could verify the security rules being applied to a network interface. Right, that's here. So if you go to the network interface, you will see the one we saw. So I didn't show it earlier because we haven't got to that part in the PowerPoint. So if you go to the network interface, sorry, the network interface is yeah. So I don't have anyone here actually for the uh, yeah, I don't have anyone, so that's why it's nothing can be retrieved. So my bad. I forgot to provision this part. I don't have any. Seriously? I guess not. Uh, okay. So I have to let one machine run first. So let's provision this machine. Domain controller. Oops. Why it's not letting me start? Okay. No, let's think client might be performing faster. So let's start client. So hopefully we can get this in time. Anyway. And yeah, you can create the NSG rules. There are several things you have to know. First, you can select the services, and you select the port range, and you select the priority. I think that's very familiar to your on-prem firewall settings, if you're familiar. So services, those are services specify, destination protocol and port range for this rule. You can choose predefined like HTTPS or SSH. So when you select a service, the port range is automatically complete. You can also choose custom to provide your own port range. So for port range, if you choose the custom service, then provide a single port such as 80, a port range, or 1000 to 65, 63.5, or a common separate list of single ports, as the with a comma. So uh, anyway, it's similar to what you do on-prem. And priority, so they are processing a priority order as well. So the lower the number, the higher the priority. So we recommend leaving the gaps like 100, 200, 300. So as is not so it so this is so it easier to add new rules without adding existing rules, editing existing rules. So you can enter any value between 1000 no sorry 100 I believe the number is 4096. It's unique for all the security rules with the network security group. So let me go to my one here. So we'll go to NSG network security groups, client. So you can inbound. So we can click into the inbound security rules. We can add right source, IP address, service, application security group, port range, any destination, IP address, again the same. So port number, you want open, TCP, UDP, or NA, action, allow, or deny, priority, and give it a name. So you summarize what you have there. So give it a description. That's how you add. So similar with the deny rule as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see if that one has been created. It's open network interface client. So let me see how many PowerPoint I have left. I think this is the last one. So yeah, again, now it's open. So the network effective security rules will open. You can see all the rules we have actually. It's similar to before. So again, you have to have the machine turned on to see all those. Right. Okay, so that's the end of this session. So thanks for watching, and we will be continuing some discussion on virtual network in the next session. Although it's not really called virtual network, it's pairing and things like that, but it's all part of the Azure network. But not on the Azure Virtual Network. It's only this, but there's so much you'd have to learn about the virtual network, Azure network itself.